I'm DebDedrick, high performance coach, here today with episode number 130. Oh my gosh. I'm super excited about this because it's how to know you're on the right track. And some of the things that have been coming up lately in the journey that I've been on is how do you know that you're on the right track? How do you know that the time that you're investing and learning your skill and learning your craft are the right ones? And so I've been doing a lot of research and study and learning, and I think I've come up with a few things that might help you to identify whether you're on the right track in your life. And that is what our episode is about today, how to really know. And number one, it starts with recognizing in your heart of hearts if it's a real desire of yours. And kind of deciding whether you're going to be a business owner or an entrepreneur because there's a big difference. And especially on this journey that I'm on. And a business owner is somebody that's usually, because I've been both, and a business owner is working in the business, and an entrepreneur is working on the business. And I think for me, an entrepreneur is somebody that's always thinking about something beyond and always working on developing skills and getting better. And I've been both. So I probably can talk about this from experience. So knowing if you're on the right track is kind of figure out whether you're a business owner or whether you're an entrepreneur, which would be somebody that I just kind of described to you. And let me give you an example. A business owner is somebody that's working on the same business all the time, maybe working in it in a key position. So that takes up all of your time. An entrepreneur has set up their business to run independently of them maybe 80% of the time and is constantly thinking of some other things to do. Let me give you a few examples of what I mean by this. During the course of my career, I have learned what I did not want to do, which was, okay, well, I sourced parts out of Alibaba and I got them here and I thought, well, I'm going to sell these on Amazon. So I set up an Amazon Seller Central store. Well, then I decided I did not want to have to source inventory. I didn't want to have to price inventory. I didn't want to have to put inventory in and set up a whole inventory schedule. So I didn't want to do that. Number two, websites. Okay, I decided I wanted to host websites. So I went into Bluehost and I set up I got a whole bunch of domain names and I learned how to set up websites. And then I realized that was not an income producing activity. It was a skill that I was developing, but it wasn't an income producing activity, and it was kind of hard. And I didn't see how I could monetize that. Check that out. What about stock trading? Oh yes, we've all, well, not everybody, but I've been there and done that, and I'm not doing that again. Money down the drain. Number four. Oh yes, I loved landscaping, so I set up a landscaping company to run all my bushes through, and I ended up doing a lot of landscaping. But then I got to the point where I was too busy doing other things, and it was really too hard for me to do as one person, and I couldn't get a lot of people to help me. And I had my other business, the business owner one, that I had to work on too. So check that off the list. What about real estate? I thought I would do real estate. So I went and got my real estate license. Well, then I realized I didn't need a real estate license because I really wanted to just buy commercial properties and not, yes, that's not, I did not want to sell real estate. I didn't want to be an agent where I was going around showing lots of houses to people. So check that off the list. Bought a car wash and a quick lube. Well, that was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. We bought this old rundown car wash, had like 8 bays, and it had a quick lube in it. And if you can picture me out in the dead of winter with my little 9-year-old son cleaning down the car wash bays, wiping it off, getting all the dirt off the walls, scooping with a shovel all the ice that got melted around the drains and putting it in a wheelbarrow and dragging it out back. And I did, and then to collect the money out of the car wash base, we had to take a torch and put the torch right on the lock just to get the key to open. And then you pour the money. It was like, what, $5 or $6? It was horrible. It did not cash flow. Check that off list. And the quick lube, we had so much competition with quick lube, it was hard to make any money there. There was no profit margin. Check that off the list. And then, of course, my bricks and mortar here, which I totally love, which is manufacturing, which is something that's been a heart of mine, in my heart. Um, I love that. So, circling back around to how do you know what you're doing? So, my journey has led me to coaching. That's what I really want to do. And I want to help other small business owners not have to suffer the pain and suffering that I've had by always constantly worrying about where they're going to get their next sale. That's brought me to here. So there's a long story about all the little things that I tried. So how do I know this last one is the right one? Because I felt it right here. I felt it right in my heart. And there's this desire that keeps coming up and it keeps coming up and it keeps coming up. And it's burning in the back of my mind. And I've spent the last, I don't know how many years has it been. I've spent 6 or 7 years honing my skills so I could do a good job at it. And practicing is burning in the back of my mind. Spent hours after days, after weeks, after months, into years perfecting the skills that needed to do so I could pitch it right, so I could deliver what I really wanted to do. And I didn't get paid for any of those. I just loved it. And that's how I knew. I knew it because all those other things that I mentioned to you, I didn't have it. I didn't love it. I haven't persisted in it that long of a time. I didn't sit in my bedroom on my bed where my kids would come in. They're all grown up but now, but they'd still, well, Mom, are you still in your room? Are you still doing that? Yes, I'm still doing that. I'm still investing my time so I can learn a new skill that I can sell and that can help, monetize, marketing. I wanted to monetize and create it a multiple stream of revenue. I wanted to create a new type of income for myself, but I also wanted to I wanted a cash flowing business. I wanted to, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I even tried MLM. I tried 4 or 5 different direct selling companies. I think my first one was Beachbody, and then it was Send Out Cards, and then it was Legal Shield, and then it was Kyani, and now I'm in a new one, which I totally love. But you can see the journey there. That's the entrepreneur, business owner, works in the same thing in the business. I'm not knocking either one. I love them both. I'm doing both. So how does this relate to you? That's a little taste of how many times you might have to try something before you figure out which one is the right one. Where you define your clarity is trial and error and practice and fail and practice and fail and never quitting and persisting and getting right back up and doing it again. And another way to know that you're certainly on track is if you're talking about it all the time and people are really not listening to you anymore because you're making them crazy. And then number 5, you can see yourself excelling at it. You can see yourself. That took me a long time to get there. So if you're not there, if you can't see it in your mind's eye, just keep working that way. Keep working forward to that. Keep working on defining the clarity in your mind because it's a journey. It's like the hero's 2 stories. My first journey started out like this, and then it got over here. So I thought I was going here, but I'm really going there. And when I found my latest thing I'm working on, I was like, 100% knew it was the right thing for me, and I dove all in, and I was passionate about it, and I poured all my time into it. So let's go back over. How do you know you're on the right track? Well, I just gave you a lot of examples of ways to try that I tried, but I'm going to refresh. Okay, it starts as a real desire, and anything that you can desire in your heart, you can create it. God did not put that desire in your heart if you didn't have the ability to make it happen. You just have to clear the thoughts in your mind and commit to it and make sure it's a burning desire for you. And don't listen to the naysayers. Then you're going to have to develop excellence in it. With the way that the world is, you want to stand out from the crowd. Why don't you sharpen the saw? Why don't you really hone your craft? Get really good at what you're doing. And then you'll be able to have something most people never have the ability to do because they're not willing to put in the time to learn what they need to do. And remember to eliminate all the fluff that's going on out here that will distract you and focus in on a few key things. Pick the 2 or 3 influencers that are already succeeding in what you're doing and just copy them. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Remember, you're going to be talking about it all the time, so you don't have to talk about it to everybody. They're not going to want to listen to you, and they're going to tone you out. And that might hurt your feelings, so just don't do that. Just remember, if you're doing that, you're on the right track. And number 5, picture yourself in your mind's eye. Visualize it. See yourself doing it. Set a timeline. Set your income level that you want to do or the skill set level that you want to do. Put it on the calendar. Take action every day. See it in your mind. Recite in the morning and recite at the night, at the end of the night, what it is you're working for, and you'll find you start gaining momentum. Thank you so much for joining me today on episode 130, how to know you're on the right track. I'm here to support you and to give you ideas and tools and tips and strategies, and what I love the most, which is frameworks, how you can build a solid foundation to step into the person that you want to be, to create the business that you want to create, to transition the career that you want to transition, and to be a support in a world where there's not a lot of support, and be here to listen to you when you need somebody to listen to you without judgment. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this tips help you. Go over and see some more over on my YouTube channel. If this tip helps you in any way, please share it with a friend. Go over and see me on my Facebook page. Thanks again for joining me. You have a great day, and I will see you on our next tip.